Welcome to New Hampshire's Business. I'm Fred Coker. How good are retail store sales this Christmas? And how much is retail store theft growing? Well, my two guests will tell us, but first, here are the most recent numbers. U.S. retail sales beating expectations. Increased 0.3% in November after falling 0.2% in October. Increased 4.1% year on year in November. The reasons? Heavy discounts. Now, retail store items, clothing stores up, you can see 0.6%, furniture up 0.9%, sporting goods, bookstores both up 1.3%, food services 1.6%. New Hampshire retailers are indicating strong sales of their holiday goods this season, and that comes from the New Hampshire's business publications. With me to tell us what their retail store members are telling them are the presidents of two New Hampshire chambers, Wendy Hunt, president and CEO of the Greater Nashua Chamber of Commerce, and Heather McGrail, president and CEO of the Greater Manchester Chamber of Commerce. Nice to have you here in the studio. Welcome.
Thank you.
What are your members telling you? Wendy?
Overall, our members are having a good season. It can be a mixed bag depending on which retailer you talk to.
Right.
Many are higher than they ever been. One particular member I talked to told me that, and she runs a very beautiful boutique, that one of her customers walked in and said, "Oh, I want to find one very special gift for someone, but the rest I'm buying online." So what that's telling us, and talking to our other retail members, is they are still competing very hard with online sales.
Yeah, right. Heather?
I would agree with that. I think that one thing we've seen this year is the community has a big role in being able to expand on how much people will spend locally. So we have a downtown passport program in Manchester, and it's very much driven by the downtown businesses promoting each other and getting people to spend a little more, to Wendy's point, when they're shopping locally.
Now, you have both big retail members and small retail members. Any differences in that, in terms of sales? Wendy?
I think the big retailers are doing quite well if they can find the sales staff. Another thing that does help in our downtown area, where typically sometimes parking can be a little difficult, is the city did waive parking fees so that people would be encouraged to come downtown and shop, which is huge.
Yeah. The Pew Research Center says online shopping has grown rapidly in the U.S., but most sales are still in stores. So 14.9% of all retail sales online so far this year. You buy online, I buy online, right?
Not very much.
Not much? Not because you're a local chamber. You don't want to do that, right?
We can't say that publicly. We don't do that at all.
Now, retail theft continues its upward trend, and here are some numbers. Retail theft in the U.S. Stores lost $112 billion in 2022. Retail theft in New Hampshire, stores lost $463 million in 2022. Wendy, you've been talking to the Nashua Police Department.
I have.
And you found out something, which is interesting.
I talked to some of the detectives, and the retail theft is up about 50% from November to December of last year.
Wow.
Those aren't the final numbers, as we still have a few more shopping days.
Yeah. Heather?
Yeah, I would say with Manchester, it is a consistent problem. I will commend what the Manchester Police Department has done. They have a lot of resources for small businesses to minimize the risk, including if they have a camera system, they can integrate it directly with the police so that they're able to, if shoplifting occurs, be able to identify the culprit.
Yeah, yeah. How's the economy basically in each of your catchment areas, Manchester and Nashua? Just generally speaking here, we're at the end of the year. How's the economy doing, Heather?
I would say it's pretty steady right now. I mean, it's always difficult at the end of the year as businesses try to project and forecast, and a lot of attendance to economic forecasts to figure out what to look forward to or not in the next year. But I would say right now the economy is faring very well from my perspective, and spirits are pretty high.
Yeah.
I would agree with that. We have a lot of new businesses that are actually coming in, and several new restaurants into the city, which is always great when I get a call from a prospective business looking for space. And then, of course, I pass that along to my members.
And you want to check out the new restaurant, too.
Absolutely. And our beautiful new Center for the Arts in downtown Nashua is a huge economic driver. And I hope everyone who has not experienced it will come down and shop and dine and see a show.
Wendy Hunt, President and CEO of the Nashua Chamber of Commerce, and Heather McGrail, President and CEO of the Greater Manchester Chamber of Commerce. Thank you. And I hope if you missed part of this, you can go to WMUR.com, where it's going to be posted all week. But at the end of this, I want to say to you, all of you viewers of New Hampshire's Business, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays to each of you.